So I barely resisted covering A Christmas Prince when it debuted last Christmas time, but I felt like it was a little lean. I felt like I needed something more that I could really sink my teeth into. And as soon as Netflix announced A Christmas Prince 2, The Royal Wedding, I knew I would be revisiting the franchise, and that day has come. Because now A Christmas Prince is a cinematic universe. Now there's a Christmas Prince canon, and the sequel delivered just on every possible level. It was bigger, it was crazier, and that wasn't even the best part. A Christmas Prince 2 tickled my whatever the foreboding version of a funny bone is. We all thought A Christmas Prince was Netflix doing a Hallmark Christmas movie, but we were wrong. It was Netflix doing a dark, dystopian franchise movie. First, let's cover the basics. A Christmas Prince is about a journalist named Amber who travels to Aldovia to cover the coronation of the new king.
His Royal Hotness is due back this weekend, but just in case he abdicates, I need somebody there to capture the fireworks.
She talks her way into the castle by posing as the new tutor for the princess.
You must be the new American tutor for Princess Emily.
Yes. And while she is snooping around, she bonds with the royal family and falls in love with the prince. Also, it's Christmas time. If you think that all sounds very fluffy and happy and harmless, then you are as blinded by your arrogance as the Christmas Prince himself. The clever filmmakers have sprinkled little clues all throughout both movies that the Kingdom of Aldovia is not as merry as it appears. And I have organized all of those things into a numbered list. Number 1, an entire Christmas country. Aldovia is a country whose entire identity is centered around Christmas. Their coronations happen on Christmas. Their weddings happen on Christmas. The prince plays the piano, but only Christmas music. Because he loves Christmas. He ends an important political address by announcing the lighting of the royal Christmas tree.
Let's celebrate with the lighting of the royal Christmas tree.
The late king hides important political documents in a Christmas ornament. Even this inexplicably gorgeous dive bar on what we're told is the wrong side of town is fully decked out for the holiday. The Christmas in this movie is off the charts. The characters can't do anything that's not at least a little Christmassy. There's a scene where our gang is investigating a shadowy puppet corporation that's been embezzling funds from the country and driving them to bankruptcy. But while they're doing it, they're on a laptop that's like set on a table in front of a beautiful Christmas tree. And then on the table around them are like cozy mugs of hot cocoa to investigate with. By the second film, we still have no glimpse into how Aldovia functions outside of the Christmas time. And that's when you realize that it doesn't. Aldovia is a nation trapped in the purgatory of a perpetual Christmas. That sounds implausible, but not when you realize these films are set in an alternate universe. And they are. The first clue of that comes at the very beginning of the very first movie.
It's our favorite time of year.
We open with a Christmas montage set to what isn't and yet clearly is rocking around the Christmas tree.
Kids from 2 to 92 all have eyes aglow. Christmas time at last is here, and the stars put on a show.
This is delightful, and it's also our first hint at one of our themes of the series, which is deception and facades. Here we have the superficial appearance of a Christmas classic that we know well, but when we look closer, there's something off about it. I will be examining this theme further as we move down the list. 2. The line of succession. The plot of the first Christmas Prince movie centers around Prince Richard ascending to the throne. At the beginning of the film, Prince Richard is uncertain as to whether he even wants to take the throne, and we're told in the time before the movie he's been jet-setting all around the world, partying and living it up, and he kind of has this reputation as like an irresponsible playboy prince. His younger sister Emily explains that should Richard choose not to take the throne, the next in line is his cousin Simon.
Nice to meet you, Simon.
You shall address me as Lord Duxbury.
Simon apparently has always been jealous of Richard and wants the throne out of spite or jealousy, we don't know. And then Amber's like, But Emily, as princess, why aren't you next in line for the throne?
Simon is next in line for the throne, not you.
Male bloodline. It's totally unfair.
And Emily's just like, I can't because I'm a girl. And she kind of rolls her eyes like, oh brother, you know how it is. And it's never addressed on a deeper level, like how messed up it is that that's still the law in the books in 2018, and like how much that would devalue her as a person in her family and her country, that she is officially and legally less than her male counterparts. But anyway, that's the last we hear of that, so I guess it's fine.
It's totally unfair.
No kidding.
Then, in a late game twist, Amber finds out that Richard is not in line for the throne at all. It turns out that the queen was not able to have children, and it's not because they waited too long. It turns out that this is just how she's always been, and apparently they found out a month after the wedding.
A month after we were married, I was told I couldn't have children.
Good thing royals aren't really invasive people who run severe physicals before they get married for exactly this purpose. So they adopted a son, and you would think as king, you could then change the law so that he can be in line for the throne even though he's adopted. Or I thought kings could just name their successors and it wasn't like that big of a deal, like that's within their power to do. But they don't do that. Instead, they pretend that Richard is their real son, and it's a huge secret that nobody ever finds out. He's got to be in his 30s and nobody knows. Richard being adopted is such a big secret that the late king keeps his original birth certificate, his new forged birth certificate, and his legal adoption papers all in one convenient folder. And he keeps that folder in a hidden drawer instead of keeping it in the fire. Yeah, it's a dangerous paper trail to keep around, but what if you want to make a scrapbook someday? If your reaction when I said all that was, wait, legal certificate of adoption? Why was this done legally? If you want to be a royal family and adopt a baby without anyone knowing, you're gonna have to buy that baby on the black market. Who signed the papers? Wasn't this filed in a courthouse? How has nobody found out? Isn't this a huge plot hole? It's not a plot hole. This is never explained, but I just assume that the royal family had everyone involved killed as soon as it was done. So, tracks covered. Anyway, this means Richard is ineligible for the throne, which is announced by the villains at his Christmas coronation. We also get the title drop under the best circumstances possible.
This fraudulent Christmas prince is not the blood of the late king.
I always liked that after this revelation, Richard storms out of the party, and as he's going down the steps, we see a couple who's just now on their way in. Like, they are in for a surprise. With Richard not actually the prince, and it turns out not even originally actually named Richard, we see the return of our theme of deceptions and facades. So, was this plot element the point of that theme? Not quite. We'll get there. Immediately when this plot twist happened, I thought of Emily. They had that earlier scene setting up that she wasn't considered eligible because she's a girl. I thought that was gonna come back.
It's totally unfair.
Emily is focused, determined, she's intelligent, she's a crack shot at archery, she's apparently a master computer hacker.
If I can create a network interface that catches the traffic to the legitimate server, I can backdoor the access.
And we find out she is actually the naturally born daughter of the king and queen.
And Emily?
Emily was a miracle.
And although she said she was ineligible, she never expressed disinterest in the throne. So I thought the twist ending would be that they would find a loophole or change the law and put Emily in line for the throne instead of Richard. But then it turns out that prior to his death, the late king did write an official order amending the law so that Richard could be king. For some reason, even though this is within his power, he didn't just openly adopt the child and changed the law years ago. And instead of telling his wife about this and getting it on the books early to protect his family in the event of his death, he instead decided to fold up the royal decree and hide it inside a Christmas ornament.
I found this one, stashed away after.
Where was it, Mother?
Oh, your father had put it in a secret hiding place, but he wasn't very good at keeping secrets.
And then write a cryptic Christmas poem alluding to its existence.
It's a poem. It was dated just before he died. From a seed, an acorn's gift, henceforth the truth will flow. Darkness such a secret bears, and a love far greater than blood.
I would say this was recklessly irresponsible, but I can't deny that it does put me in the Christmas spirit.